Hi, I'm Snez, personal trainer, healthy lifestyle coach, and your guide to feeling your best. This podcast is a segment from my weekly radio show, Wellbeing Wednesdays, broadcast live on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. It's all about sharing real, practical tips to help you move more, eat better, and live healthier without the overwhelm. Let's dive in, shall we? Now, I get asked this question all the time, and that is, what is the fastest way to lose weight? And especially at this time of year, there is definitely a different level of urgency that we are really wanting to address some weight loss. And look, I absolutely get it. People want results. They want to feel better, look better, maybe fit better in the clothes as the weather gets warmer. And there's no shortage of answers out there. There are so many different things that you will see online, on social media, eating fewer meals, cutting out carbs, skipping breakfast, cleanses, all sorts of different diets, fasting, intermittent fasting. There's so many different things, and it can be pretty confusing, firstly. But the other thing is that I'll be completely honest with you that quick fixes come at a cost, and that cost is usually your muscle mass, which is then your metabolism, and which will then lead to that weight creeping back, usually after you've been on some sort of a diet or strict plan or some sort of a quick fix that you have implemented to try and lose some of that weight quickly. And the thing is that the biggest impact is that it does have on muscle mass. And the reason being is that when we reduce intake, generally our energy levels will go down, so we're less likely to exercise. But even if you are still exercising, when you reduce your food intake, especially if it's significant or if there's a significant change to the amount of food groups that you're consuming, the body can respond in a way that it panics to a degree, and it will try to reduce your metabolism in a variety of ways. And one of those ways is to reduce muscle mass, because muscles use a lot of energy. So in that moment, the body will think, okay, this is about survival. There's not that much food going around. Muscle is using way too much of the resources. Let's cut it back. And the issue with that is then when you are carrying less muscle mass, your metabolism is slower. So to continue to get the results, you need to be able to reduce your food intake more and more. But the minute that you're going to come off of that diet and you return back to a normal eating style or an increased amount of intake, because the muscle mass is lower and your metabolism is lower, you're going to put more weight on than potentially before you started on that diet or on that strict regime. So before we chase fast, firstly, I want to ask you and question, knowing the impact, why does it have to be fast? And often we want to speed up our weight loss because we're uncomfortable or we're frustrated or we're tired of feeling stuck and seeing no change. But when you try to push the process, it ends up taking a lot longer. And I oftentimes will talk about this with members that come and see me and asking for help, and they do want to lose the weight quickly, but they feel like they've been on this journey of trying to lose it quickly for 10 years. And so that's not very quick. And I think we need to put it into perspective that we need to really address that fast just doesn't work. Our bodies don't respond well. So instead, we're going to talk about, well, what does work? So what helps you lose weight, but more importantly, what helps you keep it off? And while keeping your body healthy and strong as well in the process. Because ultimately, when you do strengthen your body and you are reducing body fat and still maintaining that strength and that muscle mass, it's the look and feel that you are going to want to experience at the end of trying to lose weight. So if you do lose weight by severely calorie restricting and you're reducing muscle mass and you're feeling weaker, which means your posture isn't as great, you're not standing as tall, you don't have the energy, and because you've lost some of the muscle mass, which would have been part of the weight loss, then pretty much what you may find is that your shape will be very similar. It'll just shrink. So instead, we want the broader shoulders. We want the more upright posture. We want that strength in our body, and that's definitely not going to come from going on restrictive diets. So Here are some of the things, or I'll give you 3 things that I recommend if you are wanting to start to lose weight and not have it bounce back. And I guess this could be the quickest way I would go around it. And the first one is to maintain, or better yet, build some muscle mass. So muscle is your friend. It burns more calories at rest. It supports your joints. It keeps your metabolism improved and burning a lot higher, and it also gives you the shape of the body and the strength in your body that you definitely want. So the answer here with building muscle mass, it's not about eating less or moving more. It's about moving more and about building strength. And so what we want to make sure that we start by adding in some strength training. And if you're not comfortable in going to the gym, it's definitely something that you can do at home. We don't need a lot of fancy equipment. We do need to challenge our bodies, but we can do that from home. But 2 to 3 strength sessions a week are going to make a massive difference. And it's going to do 2 things. First one, it's going to build a body. So it's going to stimulate muscle growth that is going to increase your metabolism. So the thing is with strength training, the benefit isn't just what you can do in the gym. It's what happens as a result of those strength training sessions outside of that gym. So outside of that gym session. So one of those things is that you are firstly going to be burning a lot more calories during that session. The second thing is you're going to be burning calories for quite a number of hours as a result of that session in that day. But the most important thing is that you're going to begin to build a body that has stronger muscles, more muscle mass, and more engaged and activated muscles. So you are going to burn more calories. There's that saying where, you burn more calories when you sleep, which pretty much is what's happening. And because you're building more muscle mass. Now, the thing is that you're not just going to be building more muscle during your training sessions, but when you're carrying more muscle mass, as you move throughout the day, you're going to get greater activation, which means burning more calories. So that is definitely the first step and the quickest way to speed it up as far as I'm concerned. The next thing that you want to do is fuel your body with nutrients, not just fewer calories. And when you fuel your body with nutrients, making sure you're getting your protein, making sure you're getting your fiber-rich carbohydrates and your healthy fats to support your hormones, these are the nutrients that you want to prioritize, because they are going to make sure that you maintain or even grow some muscle mass. They're going to maintain your metabolism, because when you just reduce your calorie intake and not really pay attention to the nutrients that are coming in, it is going to lead to fatigue, it's going to lead to cravings, and it is going to lead to muscle mass loss. So the things that we want to focus on are protein at every meal, fiber-rich carbohydrates, so think things like vegetables, legumes, so your beans, your chickpeas, green beans, whatever it is, and then your oats as well, quinoa, things like that, whole grains, and brown rices, for example. They're all the foods that are going to satiate you, they're going to give you that fiber, and then the healthy fats, as I mentioned, to support hormones. The goal is to eat in a way that's going to nourish your body, not severely restrict and shift the body into a survival mode where it makes all sorts of extraordinary changes that are going to lead to a really terrible rebound eventually when you do come off that diet. So make sure that we are prioritizing nutrients, not just less calories. And you will find, generally speaking, that when you do tidy up the diet, it is going to lead to a lower consumption of food and calories anyway. The other thing, the third thing, is to make sure that we're getting consistent with movement. So you don't need to do long hours of activity and workouts, but even 15 to 20 minutes of some form of activity daily, whether that's a walk, a jog, some strength training, or some short boosts of movement throughout your day are going to really help to boost your metabolism and your energy. And think of movement as a way to tell your body, hey, I need to keep this engine running, so I'm going to need a lot of consistent source of fuel to keep this engine running. And basically what that means is that your body is going to burn more calories and consume more of what you are actually putting in and eating. So some of the things to avoid when we are wanting to lose weight quickly is to make sure that you avoid skipping meals. So that is definitely going to reduce your metabolism. The body responds in quite a negative way. So what we want to think of is small meals more regularly. We don't want to completely demonize or eliminate food groups because, again, we are chasing nutrients, not just calories. And if, say, for example, you are removing healthy fats out of your diet, that is definitely not going to work very well with your hormones. So make sure that you are getting that balance, but you're prioritizing nutrients. And just remember not to ignore your hunger. So we want to experience hunger, but we want to feel satiated at the end of every meal. And then we want to feel satiated for 2 to 3 hours or 3 to 4 hours, depending on the frequency of your meals, in preparation for your next meal. So you don't want to be reducing your intake so much that hunger is continuously on your mind, or you don't want to be reducing your intake so that it doesn't last you until the next 3 to 4 hours, because what we do know is that when we leave ourselves in hunger for too long a periods of time, your body will strengthen the fat cells' ability to store fat and to grab onto any extra energy to store as fat in preparation for the next famine. And the body will also start to break down muscle mass to conserve energy, which is not what we're wanting to do. We're wanting to burn more energy and use up more of what we are consuming. So these approaches are going to give you the results that you want. They may give you fast results. They're probably not going to give you the degree of results that you will see on going super strict or jumping onto some sort of a diet. However, they're going to create a situation where the rebound weight gain is going to be very minimal. In fact, these are changes that you should be able to embrace gradually and over time, so that we aren't in a position where we stop what we're doing because we just, we don't have the mindset or the discipline or the motivation to do it anymore. Instead, we want these changes to empower you and to energize you, and you actually look forward to some of these changes. So if you're still wondering what is the fastest way to lose weight, the real answer is stop chasing fast. That's the first thing. And start to build habits that last. Make sure you are increasing and protecting your metabolism, which you deteriorate when you are doing any form of severe or restrictive dieting. Make sure you're protecting your muscle mass and fuel your body with nutrients and begin to move consistently. But all you need to do for today, if you want to start this journey, is just pick one thing. One thing. It could be adding a strength workout. It could be adding protein to your breakfast or your afternoon snack. It could be going for a walk before or after dinner. The weight will come off, and more importantly, it is going to stay off when your body starts to trust that you are taking care of it and that you aren't in any form of famine type of emergency. Now, you deserve the best in terms of your wellness, so start to look after your body in the best way. Thanks for joining me on this segment from Wellbeing Wednesdays, as heard live on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who might find it helpful, and subscribe so you never miss a show. Want to catch the live broadcast? Well, you can tune in Wednesdays from 12 till 2 p.m. on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM, or find my info on Wellbeing Wednesdays with Snez, the Facebook group. Take care, stay healthy, and remember, it's the little choices every day that create big changes. Talk soon.